Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today on Saxophonist. Today, I have another very special guest. He is a saxophonist, a bassist, a worship leader, amongst other things. It's my brother from another mother, Mr. Darryl Murrill. How you doing, big guy?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh man, I'm wonderful, man. First of all, thank you for your time, man. I know you're a busy man and you're out there making all that good smooth music and praising the Lord all over the place, brother. So I appreciate you, man.
Well, it's the least we can do for a saxologist. It's the
You know
least.
what I'm saying? I appreciate I appreciate that, man. Man, let's take a little jog down memory lane, man. When
hmm
Lil D was out there trying to get it in, man. And when did you decided you want to do this music thing, man?
So basically, my first experiences with live music was at church. There was a family in the church that was, I didn't know that was actually relatives of mine at the time. And they didn't know that I was their relative either. But that's another story. But anyway, I looked up to them and they all played instruments and sang. And one of our choir was one of the better choirs in the city, all that kind of stuff. I think they won like some McDonald's choir competition and stuff like that. So I'd seen that and I always wanted to be cool like them. And they were guys. So, of course, a lot of them, I wanted to be the cool guy that could play. But there was one particular time in kindergarten when one of the guys, which was my brother, and I didn't know he was at the time, he was playing the saxophone at an altar call. And at that time, it was actually a soprano, but I knew at that time, like, when people say that, you don't choose it, it chooses you.
Yeah.
I knew then, like that's that's what I want to do right there. And then there was another time in middle school that I went somewhere with them out of town, and I was a part of the choir at that time. And that whole experience, it was just something about it. As I watched them do what they were doing musically up there, I had that moment again, like that's what I want to do. That's it for me.
And then after that, you pursued it, and so what did you do after that? Did you get a horn
It
or
was a slow roll. It
yeah.
was a slow roll. All these people talking about, oh, this stuff came natural to you. You come from a musical family. Man, get out of here with that, man. It was so many times I quit. It was so many. First of all, I begged for the saxophone, and since I was in kindergarten, I didn't get it till mid 13,
Right?
and and then between that time, I kept trying to play with the piano at church, and just nobody really teach me nothing. But so I just kept being like, well. God help me. And I just kept on trying to do whatever I could do. And I always try to be one of those guys. I don't know, back in the day, everybody doesn't have this experience, but everybody in the church just about could play drums. At least all the boys. Everybody, that's the one instrument everybody let you get on. And then you're trying to be the first one at church, just in case the real drummer late so you get a chance to play. So I did all that through the years until I finally got my hands on the saxophone. And
Okay.
it still was a like a lot of y'all guys, you can't learn it fast enough. You always feel like you just ain't getting it. I mean, I went through all that stuff. People picking at me, church people picking at me. You know, I mean, I don't. And some people discouraging me. Don't even recognize me as a musician around, but everybody else is musicians. I done been through all of that stuff.
You went through it all, huh? What do you
Yeah,
remember?
man.
Do you remember
So
what
what?
that first saxophone was? What brand that
Bundy,
first? Yeah, the
Bundy,
Bundy.
Selma
Okay.
Bundy, man. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, yeah. That's the one.
Uh huh. Mm-hmm.
I had one of those as well, man. It was either that or the YAS 23 back then that would go around, say that they were pretty good
Yeah.
horns.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking.
Oh, did I lose you here?
I thought a phone call that came through, and I want to make sure I was on Do Not Disturb. I guess it just still showed me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No problem, man. So, yeah, that Bundy, man. So, when you got to play in that Bundy, I assume it was probably an alto, or was it?
Yep,
Okay.
definitely, man. My brother played alto predominantly, and I saw him on that soprano, but I never really saw him on soprano after that too many more times. And I've seen the plays like if somebody got one guy at the church that got a soprano and got a tenor because he was in the saxophone as well. And I saw him like mess with his stuff, but I never seen him actually play that. But I heard him, and it was like I want to sound just like him. And I used to get mad when I didn't sound just like him too, because I used to imitate him good, but I'm like, I just ain't quite got him. I
Right.
didn't want to sound like me. I want to sound like him. All that stuff, man. I hope this helps somebody out there that feel like they're struggling, man. Like, look, man, we all been through this process.
Yeah, you're right, man. You know that thing is like, okay, David Sanborn plays a Dukov, and he plays a
Hmm.
Laval's, this, that, and other, and a Selma, this serial number. You can go get all that stuff. You still ain't gonna sound like David Sanborn. It just doesn't work that way.
No. Yep, just like the people like Marcus Anderson has a different sound. Donald Hayes,
Yeah,
and there's another gospel guy. I can't think of his name. They all got that same kind of. I don't even know how to describe their sound. And it's like, man, who? How do y'all make a saxophone sound like that?
yeah,
Like
man.
how?
Well, you know what, man? You know what? You're not gonna toot your own horn, but I'm gonna toot it for you. But you got one of those sounds too, though, brother, that is just like when I first heard you on Facebook. I was
Hmm.
like, "Man, who was that right there?" And then you start doing those smooth jazz series,
Yeah.
and, and that helped a lot of us, man. I used to always interact with you on there. I would send you messages
Hmm.
and stuff and ask you questions.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yeah, man. So still learning as well, man. I'm just still
Yeah.
driving,
Yeah,
man.
you still got one thing I learned about that process was you got to embrace the uniqueness of like who you are in your experience. And a lot of times like now I'm looking, I just honestly, okay, so again, I say this humbly, not braggadocious. Um, but I was just at the Myrtle Beach Jazz Festival and I heard some saxophonists there live that are doing big things. And some of them are doing things on the next level in which I'm reaching for. Um, and I heard like their good sound, but there was things that I heard my sound compared to theirs that I was like, hmm, that's very unique. And then it's like I've heard people over time talk about how do you develop your own sound because you want to sound like you versus sound like somebody else. It's like you can hear Kurt Willem, you know him out of a bunch. You
Right.
can hear Dave Koz, you know his sound. You can hear Kenny
Yes.
G, you know his sound. Boney, you know his sound. Like
Right. Right.
nobody to me, nobody imitates their sounds. Their sounds are pretty unique.
Right.
Mike Phillips, I could tell Mike Phillips in a
Right.
room. I
Yeah.
mean, I know that sound. Um, but I mean, I didn't know that, when I was feeling like less than, so to speak, that really was a thing that was going to make me unique and actually be a good thing that I could have my own sound. And I didn't even know that it was being developed. I just thought I was just trying to do things like some of these influences, like my brother and other people I would hear. And then later, I just kind of finally sat down on like, man, I'm just sound like me. I can't not sound like me. Let me just embrace it. And now I'm so glad because fast forward to my story about the Myrtle Beach Jazz Festival, I heard people that there's a certain grit or I don't know how to describe it, maybe soul that some players in their sound they have other good things, but they don't have some of that. It's like something is kind of missing in their sound that for me makes my bell ring.
Right. I understand. Yeah.
And it made me say, man, God, I appreciate you because what I used to feel like was really not a good thing, that all that development when I didn't have access to a lot of jazz albums and other saxophonists, you were still developing a different sound during that time, and I was just doing the best I could, and I didn't realize God was doing something bigger. So sometimes, man, we sleep on ourselves.
Right. 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 So you had influence at your own house, in your own home, with your brother playing the sax.
Not quite. Uh-huh.
All right, it's all good.
Yeah, I found out later that we was brothers.
Uh,
That that's that was one of those things where I wanted to be in the family, and then I found out later that there were some circumstances that caused me to be in the family for real. But I didn't grow up with them like that.
oh, okay, I understand. I understand. But yeah, but he
And
did play. But he did play though.
he did play,
Yeah.
and even now when I see him, I be like, man, do you even own the saxophone? Because he's always dancing and singing and playing keyboard and producing. And it's like, where's the sax, man?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everybody knew you. I came up to be one of the baddest sax dudes around, and like you don't even care no more.
So let me ask you, Darryl. So when you were developing, going through school and playing and everything, did you used to go do the jam sessions and things like that after school? You do any of that kind of stuff?
In my school, they didn't have it. Matter of fact, in my school, I gave my band teachers a hard time sometimes because I was one of the few that could play by ear because I had the church experience, being thrown in the fire multiple times. And when some things start to click, I could do some things that they could. And I didn't. grow up in band right when everybody else was learning how to read. And so I felt like this is not you teaching me how to play. When they were saying, listen, this is a whole note, this is a half note. I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. Let's play a song. Show me how to play a song. So I got through the years on the reading side. I can read, but it kind of got jacked up because of that, because I didn't think it was important.
Right.
so so there's things I can hear now, and I can look at music and I can read it because I know I can somehow crazily I can put it together, but
Right.
I don't sight read as good. So with that being said, there wasn't no jam sessions. It was just church, and it was if some other musicians I knew from other churches, or because back then too, I was not one to go to a lot of things. The way I was taught back then, I've kind of grown different now, a different perspective now. But it was like there's secular music and there's God's music, and
Right.
we don't mix. So if it wasn't like an outdoor kid friendly event where there was something that I could jump in with a person or something, or it was always I had to know people, and that's how I got jam sessions, and we would do that sometimes.
So you came from a pretty much a Christian home and everything, and you guys, it was church every
Pretty
Sunday
much,
and all that good
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
My mom fell away for a while, but then when she went back, I was still pretty young, and then it was Tuesdays, Thursdays when I got on the choir, Friday night choir, Sunday morning, Sunday night.
Hey man, I understand. I didn't quite have to do it that many times, but I know what you mean though. That's how it was back, days.
Yes, sir. We were churching now.
Yeah, man, you gotta go. You can't get them to go now, but that's a different story. Yeah,
I'm so glad things have changed. Good Lord.
I
And I
know,
used to
man.
get mad about it. I used to get mad about a night service. I used to like to sometimes have our own, or every now and then maybe visit somebody else's night service so you could play with other musicians or something like that. And
Yeah.
now I'm so glad we ain't got night service. Man, we need a break, man.
Hey, so hey, let me ask you this, Darryl. So you are you the worship leader at your church in the band?
So I am the assistant pastor, and I'm over the music ministry.
Okay.
And I also wear some other hats, but that's primarily the two things that I do. And then of course I do music outside of church as well.
Right, right. Yeah, man. I know that man, that band, boy, I said you got a smoking band at that church, bro, with you in there, man. So
Man, I don't. And here's the thing: a lot of times with churches, especially in my area, unless you have a nice little payroll, most musicians are not going to lock down in with you like that. They're not going to just, which is sad. I came up in a time where we were taught, that you don't approach church to like who can pay you the most. You approach it more like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this where I'm supposed to be taught, grow, and mature and be fed? And then I'll see what the situation is. If they don't got money to give, they ain't gonna stop me from playing.
okay,
If they do, if they can give me a stipend or something, then I'd gladly take that.
right,
But it was more important to be connected somewhere where you knew you were supposed to be a part of this community and contributing what you could contribute, and get what you can get from it. It was supposed. I always grew up in the sense of like each joint supplies.
right.
We're part of this church body, not this church that can pay me. So with that being said, nowadays a lot of people I need to be a church that can pay me, and so and so you have to do a lot of work with whoever can volunteer. So I think our church band sounds pretty decent, but I've had to do a lot of development, and we're still working on some things to like really work on developing, playing better. Even with the singers, it's kind of like the same thing. But I appreciate what we have. I appreciate what we're able to do, and I'm definitely not knocking on it. But I don't have that situation where it's like me being on the outside of church when I got pro players.
Oh, I understand.
Um, but I'm looking forward to the day
Yeah.
when we can rock it like that on the inside too.
Well, like out here in Cali though, it's different. Like you say, it's all they're
Hmm.
pretty much locked in. The guys that we have at our church
Yeah,
mostly they're there, so
yeah,
yeah, but they may do other services elsewhere too, though. They may go somewhere else, but
yeah,
but they're locked in.
yeah.
That way you had that cohesion too, though. you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but you had to do what you have to do. Though I understand, though, man. You know, so
Yeah, but I appreciate my people. They're not bad.
yeah.
They're not bad. It's just it's definitely a difference if the whole band was like what I'm playing outside of church. But that's the only thing. Also, if they hear this interview, I want to say, oh, he just knocked us down.
No, no,
We
you
ain't
know,
doing we
I've
ain't
heard you
doing nothing.
guys. I watch your
So
stuff,
I
so I've heard you guys. So those are the same people at the church,
no
right?
no
Or they not?
uh My
Oh,
wife plays the keyboard. Now the drummer is my son, 15-year-old son. Now he plays at church too. And then I have to play bass most time on Sundays. And then there's another lady who plays the keyboard. And every now and then we have this other guy that comes in that plays guitar. But that's pretty much what we're working with outside of the singers.
how many instruments do you play?
Well, that's a I play is a funny thing. So let me just put it like this. So I can play things on the guitar, the bass, saxophone, keyboard, and drums. And I did a little flute one time. I don't even count the clarinet because I can't. I probably could touch it more. That's what I started with. But more. But when if I have to pull something off to hold it down, I'm more likely to be able to carry something more on the keyboard, bass, and sax.
But you can play all that's a beautiful thing to be able to play all those instruments, man.
Well,
You
the
know?
keyboard is wonderful because you can hit a button and transpose. And
Right,
so
right.
people talk junk about transpose. I'm like, look, I gotta do what I gotta do. I was coming up, they were singing so much stuff in so many different keys. It wasn't like today with these praise teams. I ain't had no other choice, and nobody was trying to show me nothing. So I had to do what I had to do.
But you must be it must make you proud to see your, I watch your videos with your daughters and your
Yeah.
sons and you guys all playing together. That's beautiful, man.
Oh yeah, it's nice to be able to have that, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what my girls will do more in the future. They kind of ran into they hungry, but they ain't hungry.
Okay. Okay.
when I
All right.
say when I say they didn't grow up like me wanting things to a certain degree,
Right,
they
right,
want. When they got older, I was like, look, I can help y'all build what it's gonna take to do music.
right.
Them
Right.
jokers was like we hear you, but we want a job.
Yeah.
We want to buy stuff. Like we'll come back to that. we we'll post some videos. But we're gonna go to work.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
so that's their thing. And my oldest son though, I think he got the bug like me. Like so, and I was very proud of him. Even at the Myrtle Beach Jazz Festival this week. I told him, I was like, man, you're 15 years old. You listen to what I tell you, and you held your own. And now you're 15 and you already got a resume. You done played for Marcus Adams. You done played for Hank Bilal.
What?
You done played for, yeah, because we did a set, us three. So,
Okay.
and now I ain't down the road as far as those guys are right now with my music, but I have put out stuff on the radio and got within the, I don't know about quite, didn't quite break the top 40. So I can claim to be a national recording artist because it's the truth. But
Yes.
I didn't have the funds to keep pushing my music like those guys. So
Yes.
so I'm like you got my name in the mix, man, and I'm like, you already played at a jazz festival and you're 15.
I mean,
Like man, you keep on doing what you're doing, you keep listening, man. We're gonna get you gonna be you should never have to work a regular job in your life.
yeah, yeah. So, Darryl, are you in the North Carolina area? Is that where you're at?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You got some cold players down. You got my man Adrian Crutchfield, and is Marcus
Mm-hmm.
Adams from down that way too, or what? I don't know.
I think he grew up in South Carolina, but
Oh, did
a
he?
lot of times I've been seeing him outside of his mini travels. I've been seeing him near the Raleigh area a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll claim him.
Yeah.
I'll claim
Yeah.
him.
I mean, Adrian Crutchfield, he cold, man, and you cold,
Yeah,
so it's you got something going on down in the NC, man.
yeah, man. I just wish we could all see each other. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
It seemed like start feeling like you're the only saxophone player around a lot of times.
Yeah, I can understand that. So, you keep pretty busy though. I see you do a lot of weddings and all that. That's pretty nice, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's another thing that you have to do, man. You have to find other streams besides just being able to do the stuff that you would like to do the most, like concerts and stuff. So I like doing stuff like that because they don't take all day.
Yeah.
By the time people want to get drunk and act crazy, I'm gone.
So how was your experience at the jazz festival, man? How was your set, man? What was it like?
Man, it was fun. I really felt like the development that I've been experiencing as an individual, you know, emotional, musically, the whole nine. I felt like I was in a better place, and I was able to enjoy the experience of being on that particular platform. You know, as I said, my son made me proud. Band did well to, you know, compliment the other two artists, and you know, it was cool to be able to talk to Jasmine Gent, and you know, even to talk to her afterwards, and then like without me asking her questions, her being able to start to talk about things that I did in the set that, you know, from another saxophonist and an artist made me feel like, whoa, she found something nice enough to discuss that I did. Like that's, you know, that's what validation, what more validation do you need? You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you know, stuff like that, man. It was really good. It was really good experience. That festival continued to grow. And man, I just had a good time. I went back Sunday night and heard Jasmine set. And it was another guy, I forgot his name. He was the first time I seen him on the sax. But yeah, just hearing some of the other artists, man, it was a really good experience, man. I hope to get to more festivals.
Yeah, man. I hope you come out to Nam sometime, man.
Oh, I'd love to do that, man. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
man. You come out
Yes,
here
sir.
and network a little bit, man, you know? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They all out here, bro, you know. But
Yeah.
it's all good either way though, man. You know what? Let's since we're both Cannonball, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I know the Cannonball owners, Darryl Murrill and Dave Parks, Dave Saxon, we are honorary Cannonball endorsers right now. But you can make
Yeah,
them an
man.
official one though. But I'm just you know,
Yeah, tell them to make it official
that's
and
it. Make it official.
send me something. Send me something.
You know, I actually reached out to them. I'm trying to do an interview with them. I'm definitely I'm gonna bring it up if I get them on here. I'll bring it up. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
because I'll tell them,
Yes,
look,
sir.
I had two cannonballs, and my friend has several of them, and he's an awesome artist. Whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna plug it for you, bro.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let the Lord use you.
That's it. Speaking into existence, right? You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I'm standing in agreement.
So let me ask you about that soprano, man. That
Mm-hmm.
cannonball soprano, man. Talk to me about
Yes,
that.
sir. Well, let me grab it off the wall right quick. So I got it used, number one, and I unfortunately I had to part ways with my tenor to get
Okay.
this one because I didn't want to. I saw that homeboy had this on sale. I mean, not on sale. He was selling it, but he said, "Hey, but I'm willing to trade for a tenor." I'm like, me and tenor got a love hate relationship right now.
Okay.
I like tenor, but at some time I'm like, I don't know if I like tenor.
Right, right, right.
I like to hear it, but I don't know if I like to play it all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said, look, man, I got a Super Action 80 Series 2. People thought I was crazy. Like, you sold that for a cannonball? Like, yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah, I could get this for no money. And he gave me $200 more to take it to the shop. I haven't looked over. So yeah, man, this thing
Beautiful,
is
man.
easy to get around, pretty. And what I like about it the most, unlike the straight saxophone, is I tell people all the time, I like that instant feedback that this thing gives you. So especially when I play with a band, I don't feel like I get lost in the sauce as much because I really can hear the
Right, right.
saxophone more. Sometimes it may be pulled back because sometimes I feel like it might be too loud if I'm in a small room or something. But yeah, man, I love it. I've been taking a break from it right now because with my time and with some of the things I got going on, I've been trying to like I guess this would be another topic for some saxophonists. People feel like just because you can play the saxophone and you play different saxophones, you don't have to practice all of them. But you could tell when you're not practicing all of them. Like, and I don't know if it's just the fact that you got to change your embouchure up, or like with the tenor, sometimes how you got to use a little bit more of your throat or something that little switch up still needs to be practiced, even though you can still do well, but then you can find yourself not sounding as good or you get as winded when you're live and all that. So lately I've just been keeping myself on alto, and I've been literally learning stuff that I learned on soprano on alto so I can make sure that I keep a consistency right now because I got so much happening that I just want to make sure that I can be at my best whatever I need to step up. So I've been taking a break. It's been an ornament for the past couple of weeks.
Okay. But the intonation is pretty good. You had no problem with intonation on those at all, huh?
No, man. Matter of fact, 20 years ago, I tested a cannonball for the first time, and I was really sold on Selmer back then. And I knew I heard something different. I knew it sounded good, but I couldn't put my finger on it as a younger man of
Right.
what it was about cannonballs. I used to say something to people. I used to say it sounded like soap. Like, now, how do you describe? Because it was such a clean sound. I guess that's what I had in my mind, but it didn't click to me like, yo, dude, that's what you want, man.
Yeah.
And then now, fast forward to being older, when I first got this my alto cannonball, I heard the same sound, but I heard some differences even when with the guy who demonstrated on the internet, and I sold it. I sold my other Selmer, which
Okay.
was a Super Action Series 3. I sold that without even playing the cannonball because I was convinced that what I heard from another artist playing online, I said, there's something to that sound. I got to have that particular saxophone. And part of me was like, man, you gotta Super Action Air Series 3. You got a pro horn, you paid off. Like, why you want to go back in debt? But man, something about them cannonballs. And when I saw Marcus Anderson just became an endorsee, I said, uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
That was
The
it.
secret is out.
Well, you know what? Well, you know what, Dare I tell you what? Let's take a listen to this cannonball right now here with one of your songs, Closer Than I Realize here. Let's take a listen to this.
Okay.
Man, brother,
Hmm.
your vibrato, excuse me, your vibrato and tone, man, are just like impeccable, man. I just love the way, the way your vibrato is just so smooth, man. How'd you practice that and get that the way you got it now, man?
So first, everything had super vibrato like the older gospel singers I used to hear. So I put vibrato on everything.
Yeah.
You like some people, as soon as they get a plate, don't even taste it, start throwing salt on it. I always had did that. But then I kind of got into hearing another guy talk about different speeds of vibrato, and then I saw Kurt Willem talk about different speeds and how he practices strict with a metronome, and then how he makes it more natural later. And then I was like, let me start seeing how I can use it different. Then I ran into another guy named Merlon Divine, and he described to me something that really hit home. He said, "Have you ever thought about a Leslie on the organ, like at church?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, at certain times how they hit it hard and somehow it's like, wah, 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 wah. He's like, all of that is that different dynamics you can pull on the sax, and you don't have to play it. You don't have to do it the same way every time. And you can add some more elements to your playing just with vibrato. And I was like, you mean not notes, just with vibrato? So I started using that, and I started noticing that even with other sax players too. There's a Asian girl that what's her name, Grace something maybe.
Grace Kelly.
Yeah,
Grace Kelly,
and
yeah.
I noticed sometimes how sometimes she might even use a vibrato where it's kind of like it's faint and it's not even on beat, like uh, uh. But singers do little stuff like that, and it's like,
Right.
oh man, you can add this to the game and still add variety to your playing without thinking you have to do all these notes. So man, once I really got hip to that, I wanted to like focus on how pretty can I make my sound, how can I make it sing, and then how can I add dynamics, which is vibrato, tonguing or slurring predominantly, and how loud I'm playing or how soft I'm playing. I started focusing on like putting a lot more time on that because I'm like, if I can speak something well, I probably could do like BB King and with the blues. I used to say
Right.
people always talk about BB King ain't the baddest. He ain't the baddest guitar player I ever heard. But I tell you one thing he could do, he could outplay many guitar players with one note, but how he could speak it. So I was like, if he could do it like that with the guitar,
Right.
how much more can I speak on the saxophone? So I started focusing on it.
Yeah, your dynamics. I like your dynamics and everything. So yeah, I remember when you were doing your courses, or you were telling us how to put soul
Mm-hmm.
on it. Put some soul on it. You did the
Yes,
stuff,
sir.
man. I was like, yeah, that's what's up,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Are you still teaching?
Mm-hmm. No, I am pretty much. I have been preparing to get back on the ball of doing more content,
Okay.
um, like I was doing before. And but yeah, I don't really have enough time to like teach. And people say, "Well, look, man, you ain't got to do it on everybody else's schedule. You can just tell people what you got, and they can either get here or not." I'm like, I don't know, but yeah. So, but I am gonna start putting some more stuff back out there. I've been trying to put some things in a row so that once I get started, I can stay consistent. One thing I don't want to do is start again, and then you get a little lesson, and then it's like 6 months later they come the next one.
Yeah, yeah. You know what, man? Hey, give me a gig horror story. Give me okay, say like you was going to the jazz festival and your horn is in Detroit and you're in Chicago.
Oh my
Give
goodness!
you got any of those kind of things, or just give me one.
I had an event. I had an event, and it was killing the first song. Matter of fact, I think we was doing Square Biz.
Tina
you
Marie.
know, yeah, yeah. People were digging it, like, yeah, yeah. Like the whole, like if they got food in their mouth, food coming out their mouth, yeah. It was like the energy was crazy, and so I'm at the end, and my neck literally fell off my saxophone.
What?
Yeah, like the
You didn't
piece
have?
that. Oh, it was in there.
Oh yeah.
So the neck, you had the piece that goes inside the
Yeah.
saxophone, it's tightened up. That little round piece was still in there, and
Oh.
the neck just fell off on the floor.
Oh no. What the heck?
Yeah, and I was like,
It's like you got a neck in your pocket.
right, and everybody, the energy is there, and that's the first song, and you have a nice event where people think they paid you some good money, and they ain't trying to hear your your neck fell off. so
Oh man.
so then I had to pick up my tenor at the time, and I had to try to play any of the other songs with tenor. I was not playing as much, so I had to try to transcribe in my head stuff on the fly, making me mess up. And then too, I wasn't as secure of a player. Like I was professional, but that's what I was telling you. There's been a lot of development as a man that's been going on past you. Back then, I definitely found some of my identity and validation through what I could do. So when you're up there and people are giving you all this, yeah, you're giving you all this validation, and now you mess it up because you play in another saxophone, another key, and you just try to make it work. That's a bad feeling on the inside, man. So there was a guy that was there that happened to be a saxophone player. He's like, man, I got a saxophone for you. Go to the house and get it. And he came back, saved the day.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know stuff
But that
happens.
was terrible. That was terrible.
Wow, the neck just the tendon. That's all it was left in there, the tendon, and the other part
Uh
was
huh.
just gone.
But
Wow.
what I know what happened to it now. I used to for a long time. I used to put the neck on and then put the mouthpiece on. And I
No,
think what I used to do, I think maybe when I had a different mouthpiece that was tighter, I just kept forcing. I think I made it weak over time and,
yeah,
and wore it out.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so now I never put the neck on. I always take it in my hand and I do it here and then put it on. I never, ever, 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 ever put it on no other way.
Neither do I because I just saw a video about it saying that because you can really
Hmm.
bend the neck without even knowing it. because those things are they're hard, but at the same time, you get to pulling on them or something. Something might give. So
Yeah. I mean, they only got a big hole going through the middle of
that's it. Yeah.
it. That's all. Just ain't nothing on the inside. That's all.
But that's all right though, man. you know. Hey, now your CD, God and Sax was Love, God and Sax that you did in
Hmm.
2014. What was your inspiration behind that?
I just wanted, I think at that time, I felt like I hadn't done anything in a while. And I was just getting into finding, I didn't feel like I had the finance to pay a producer. So knowing that people were actually putting together music that you could get some license to, and then you could write to it, I wanted to grab something like that so I could actually record and hear myself with somebody who was good at producing because I got frustrated with people and I started trying to produce for myself. And that's why I said, you can play different instruments, but you ain't always production ready on every instrument. And so
Right,
some of
right,
that
right.
stuff, man, some of that stuff I put out, man, you can't find it no more. I done went back to iTunes and took it off. And now I don't want you to hear
You said you took it
that.
out.
I took it off. All instruments played by me. No, 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 not that. Let's take that off. We good. We good. We good. That was good practice. So that felt good. That was something I wanted to do, and then I want to try to work towards other things to where like what I've done this year, where I've actually started working with a producer. We've been building some music from the ground up. So so hopefully I have that next year. That's the goal. We're pretty much halfway through with the project, and then I got a Christmas album that'll be 25th. You can pre-order it this month, but then come out Thanksgiving.
All right. So,
Yeah.
what's your process of writing? How what do you do? You start at the keyboard? Do you get an idea in the shower? Or are you driving down the street? What happens with you?
I don't know because there was a time I don't know what I could say about now, but back in the day, I was constantly being intentional about trying to write. So I just be messing around. I'd be doing stuff, and wherever inspiration came, or if it came when I wasn't trying to do anything. I mean, I've had songs that I've written that I heard it in my sleep, or I had a dream and saw some of it, and tried to get up and even get on the guitar. Like I hear these chords, like so. But nowadays, life is so different. Um, I would think the most regular time I would get an idea would be like I hear a melody in my head or I play something on the sax. I'm like, that sounds like that could be a song. But I think once I get back to my consistent practice of creating again,
Yeah.
some of that stuff may pop back up. But then now too, um, I would prefer to write more from the sax unless something just hits me on another instrument because then I can be more in charge of like where do I hear a melody going in my head, and then now working with producers, you can say, hey, this is what I got, man, and they can already hear how to put something behind it, and then you can save yourself some trouble too. And I also have like this little NPC over here that I may be more intentional about learning finally and starting to try to create some ideas in the future. So I won't be going to producers just about empty handed, So
Right.
I still
Right.
have a whole song or at least an idea to work with.
All right. And you're open to art. You're not just a jazz artist or gospel artist. You're a saxophonist, so you can play anything pretty much, right?
Well,
So, oh,
well, I'm not super strong in traditional jazz. I just never grew up with like a close um, teaching on that. I was also one of those people who were intimidated by some of what I call them the jazz police or jazz heads. They would definitely make me feel inferior, like I was just supposed to know stuff,
yes, yes.
and then I'd be feeling like I'm trying to prove myself to those guys. So now I'm at the place of like where I'm really wanting to play stuff that regardless of the genre that I really feel that I want to play and I like or I feel like I could do something with it. So if it's jazzy, I'm not against it. But I'm not playing jazz just to play jazz. Like
Right.
I'm past that now. I'm not even when I do gigs for weddings and stuff like that. Unless a person requests a song for me to learn, I'm not like learning songs that I think are just popular enough to get me another gig. It's like I look to learn something that I feel it works best for me and that I can accomplish at least more than one goal with if I'm gonna attack it. If I'm gonna be I'm just trying to be much more intentional about it and making sure that stuff can put me in the light of being seen as an artist and not just another saxophonist. Because that is my goal. I've always wanted that, and then over the years, you do what you got to do. But now I'm 45. I still got a lot of time left in this earth. But
Yes,
at
you
this
do.
point, it's like, look, are you going to keep working on this level, and that's all fine and well, or you're gonna reach for what you always wanted to create and to make music that can have more impact when you hit the stage or wherever it is you're at. And that's where I'm at now. I just want to keep pushing that envelope and let people see me in a different light, not just another saxophonist.
So fast forward 5 years from now, what do you see
Hmm.
yourself doing music wise? Where do you see yourself being at that time?
I see myself on Sirius XM on a regular basis. I see myself at more than just the I've only played at the Myrtle Beach Jazz Festival at this point. I see myself playing at multiple festivals, and I see myself coming out with a lot more music on a regular basis, to where you know that even the streaming side of things, that there's playlists that a lot of my stuff would be in, even more than what it is now. I see myself making those kind of moves.
Amen. Hey, speaking into existence, and you're a
Yes,
man of
sir.
faith, and you're a man of faith, brother. So it's gonna happen for you. And I'm gonna be right here watching too.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you this though. Give me your Mount Rushmore of saxophone players, whether deceased or alive.
Hmm.
You get four. I'll give you a fifth one because it's hard. You can throw a
Okay.
bonus. Go ahead.
So for the Jazz Police, I'm gonna start back.
Okay.
Cannon, Cannonball Adderley.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm gonna get off of them because I like a lot of traditional jazz players, but they were not the ones that influenced me at first the most. So to be authentically honest, because I didn't like jazz at first, I thought it would sound like noise.
I
but
know what you
but
mean.
because especially when I heard bebop, but now that I heard swing, it was different, because the swing still had melodies. People could still dance to it, and you could still have a lot of crazy saxophone to it. So, but I didn't know a lot of people's names. So, Cannonball Adderley for sure. Kurt Williams was major for me coming up right off the bat. Kurt to the Williams, and even though he a tenor sax player, I didn't care. I was still trying to make my alto sound like a tenor.
All
So,
right.
number three, I want to say Mike Phillips. Number four. Okay, let me start getting to some crazy players that ain't just in my what I like to hear a lot. They just crazy players. Hmm, who does some stupid stuff? That just make me go, man. It was a dude that used to play. It's a Caucasian guy, and sometimes he played bluegrass in some of his music. But he used to play with what's the trumpet guy, Miles Davis, back in the day too. But I can't think of his name.
Not Stan Getz. Is it one of them? Not Stan Getz.
No, no. I should maybe want to turn around my computer, look up if I could think of his name. But I know he had a little stint before Miles Davis died back in that era. But he's more of a fusion player. But I've even seen him do stuff with bluegrass type stuff too, as well, like saxophone and bluegrass. If I could think of his name, but that dude just do some stuff that just make you feel like, man, what kind of possibilities are they out there? Just
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
So
Not Pharoah
I think
Sanders.
no,
Not him, because
no.
that's
This
crazy. That's real crazy.
this guy is a Caucasian man. He usually puts a bandana on his head to cover some of his bald spots and let his hair hang out.
Oh, okay. All right.
I listen to him on a regular basis, but I love what I do hear him. Like, this dude is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, now we go with somebody else that I can actually think of their name. Um, hmm, that's tough. Oh, Gerald Albright.
Hey, that works. That's a good list,
Gerald,
man.
cause Gerald to me has the best of everything that I'm working for. Like, I'm working to sound like, I call it the right hand of any gospel musician that plays keyboard. To
Right.
me, they have the mix of sounding soulful and sounding jazzy to now the way that their style is, and very musical. And I've always said, man, my goal is to become their right hand on sax. If I could be a right hand of a gospel musician, man, on saxes, that's what Gerald Albright is.
Yeah, yeah. If you could do a duet with anybody, as far as a singer, if you were to play with any singer, who would you want to play for? What singer would you like to get in the mix with? If you had any singer alive or deceased, any Whitney Houston's or anybody, who would you like to play with?
I hadn't really thought about stuff like that, but right now, the top of my mind, because of like so many of her, this particular person's songs just hit so well, and it seemed to be so conscious of having that pureness in their music that reaches more than just any one group. I say CC Winans.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I was thinking of Yolanda Adams because, oh my goodness, her too though. Yeah, either one of them,
Yeah.
man,
Mm-hmm.
that'd be good stuff, man. You know. So,
Yeah.
Derek, you said you're working on some original, some more music coming out soon, huh? We can be
Oh
looking
yeah.
forward to that.
So what now? Am I looking forward to what now?
We can be looking forward to that then, right?
Yeah, I believe next year we're gonna be able to make it drop. We're supposed to be finishing up some things early 2026 on it, but as far as the music side of things, all that stuff, all our ideas have kind of been hashed out. So now it's pretty much now on me to put all my stuff to
Yeah. Okay.
it. So yeah, and I was able to give him my stuff. Yeah, I was able to give him some old songs that I never had produced right. Some stuff I just came up with a melody, like some like what you were talking about. I would say, "Hey man, I got this melody," and then he's like, "Check this out." I'm like, "Yeah, that's it. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that." So man, it's been fun, man, seeing stuff come to life like that.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have perfect pitch or relative pitch?
Well, I told you, man, when I came up, I didn't all this stuff people think that you just got naturally. No, sir. I remember being in the choir rehearsal. They say, and I'm like, and I finally got brave enough to sing loud, and they telling me that that note's wrong, and I'm like, it's right. And people beside me look at me like,
They
brother
deny
Darryl,
you.
brother Darryl, that note is wrong. I could tell it now. Like I can even tell when sometimes when somebody sings a song in a different key without my saxophone, I can kind of tell like, oh, that key is a little bit different. But I don't have perfect pitch.
But you have a good ear though, so you can pick it up if you had to,
Mm-hmm.
you listen to it for you say, I figure out what key he's in or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But we had to, because in church with devotional service coming up, that was where I grew the most. That they would sing songs that had patterns that were very similar, but they would sing them in any key, or if a person couldn't sing well, they would be changing keys
Yeah.
sometimes in the midst of that. So that's the environment I grew up with when I was thrown into the fire, and so I had to learn how to work my major scale and my minor pentatonic scale very well to try to figure out number one, what key am I in and how can I make some melodies because it's probably gonna fall, it's probably gonna be kind of bluesy or it's gonna be more straight.
Right.
And for many years, that's how I had to kind of navigate things and work on my keys and stuff like that.
Did you go to college for music as well, or
Mm-mm.
you didn't do
I
that?
kept I kept battling the whole thought of being a starving musician because I heard that so much coming up. People didn't tell me that look, man, you might be one of the few that can do it. So they kept thinking they was telling me stuff to make me, think wisely and be careful. But all they told me was it's highly likely unlikely that I could do music full time. So I have to keep the dream alive and figure out something else. It was like, what else is there to figure out? I don't want to do nothing else.
But you
So I
figured it
kept
out.
trying stuff.
You figured it
Well,
out.
the Lord has made a way somehow. But I just started stuff and then I quit stuff. So I never finished nothing I did in college.
But music is
Even
something.
barber school, I finished that and I never finished the internship, took the test. Didn't even do that. I just quit. I'd be like, after a while I said that I was like, man, the same faith it's gonna take for me to do music. I got to have that to get these people to let me cut their hair because nobody want to let you cut their hair because they got their picks.
Yeah.
And you can't even learn good. You can't even like, man, I'm sitting here wasting my Saturdays. I quit.
Ain't nobody in your chair. Everybody looking over there like ain't nobody
Yeah, I'm
looking
sitting here. I'm wasting my time out here. I quit.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Well, there, I'll tell you what, man, it's been a blast, man. We're almost out of time here, but man, I really appreciate your time, brother. So can you give up give up all your information, how booking information or your YouTube?
Yeah, yeah. Right now, darrylmurrill.com I do have a website, but there is an updated version that's coming up. Like it's pretty much finished, but I'm trying to get some things straight with the store right now. But in the meantime, there you can find links to the YouTube, probably the smooth jazz saxophone lessons. I know for YouTube, maybe not the Facebook, but my Instagram and all that stuff, it should be there. And there is a booking, tab there as well, all that kind of stuff. So darrylmurrill.com will be the best place to go.
All right, man. I really appreciate your time, brother, man. And you keep doing everything you're doing, brother, because the sky is the limit, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for the encouragement.
Hey, and I appreciate where you encourage me as well, man. You feed into me, iron sharpens iron. You give me tips, man, and I really appreciate. That's why I started doing this show. Is before I love to talk to you guys because you guys are incredible artists, and from somebody that doesn't play as well as you guys, but I do understand it, so I'm not a novice. I can talk
Right, right.
sax with you guys because I can play
Hmm.
too. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's a beautiful thing, man. I really appreciate your time, brother.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Much continued success.
All right, man. Peace and blessings.
Thank you. Everybody, thank you for joining me on Saxophonist. My guest, Mr. Darryl Murrill. You can check him out on YouTube, on Facebook. He's a bad man. Check him out. All right, you guys take care. Later on. All right, Darryl, take care, brother.
All right, brother.